everyone, it's Jokes311 again with another video for you guys today. Today is my first Ferocious Cup. Now this meta is very interesting as there's no specific types. It's just a bunch of beasts and mammals and whatever that has 2 legs and 4 legs with a tail going at it. So very interesting meta, and I really like it from the so. Yeah, let's get into these battles, shall we? So, we're doing some battles with Corvera. You might have seen him in Purple Kyogre's channel a few times. So, I have my little Ninetales in, and he has a Suicune. So, he gets off another charge move, which is a Bubble Beam, which does practically nothing, but it does lower my Charm's attack, or charm damage, because the attack debuff. So, he gets off another Bubble Beam, which again does nothing. So just trying to feint him down with Charm, and then he gets to another one. So my Ninetales' Charm is practically doing nothing at this point. So I'm able to feint it down, and I hit Psyshock on whatever it comes in. So it is the Alolan Sandslash. Now, so Alolan Sandslash already resists it because of the Steel typing, and with all those debuffs from Bubble Beam, it didn't even touch it. So I just go for an Ice Beam, trying to do whatever I can to this Alolan Sandslash. And he does end up fading me down here with just Powder Snows, because it takes Charm forever to get to the charge moves. So I have my own Alolan Sandslash, and I have my own Umbreon in the back. So I come in with Umbreon. So he hits me with an Ice Punch. So he gets off of quite a bit of Ice Punches because he did farm down my Alolan Ninetales. So Ice Punch really doesn't do anything to Umbreon. So I do shield this one because I was worried about my Umbreon getting a bit too low there. So I go for my Foul Play, which he does not shield. So he still has 2 shields left on his last Pokemon, and it happens to be a Gramble, which is bad news for my Umbreon. But I do have an Alolan Sandslash in the back, which does resist Charm. So I bring that out, but I forgot how low it was at the time during this battle. So I just try and do whatever I can, but he ends up winning because he had a Gramble in the back. So GG there, Corvera. So we move on to the next one. So I lead with my Alolan Raichu. He leads with Delcatty. Now Delcatty does have Charm, but there's no stab on Charm because Delcatty is a normal type. So I get off my Brick Break as it is super effective to Delcatty, which does a decent chunk for how weak Brick Break is. So I get off another one, which he does shield. So he's trying to farm me down, but I'm able to get to another Brick Break, which either will KO the Delcatty or force his last shield. And I do force his last shield. So my Raichu goes down, but I'm up 2-0 in shields. So I bring in Alolan Sandslash, and I totally forgot that Delcatty gets Wild Charge, and he hits me with it here, which does a decent chunk, but I thought it would do more. So he switches into Raichu. I switch into Alolan Ninetales. So again, he hits me with another Wild Charge. So he's hitting me with all the heavy hitting charge moves. So he gets with me a Brick Break here, but Brick Break would either knock out or come close to knocking down my Ninetales. So I farm down the Raichu, and I blast the I actually don't do it all the way because I just wanted to get an extra Charm in for whatever he comes in, but it really didn't matter anyway. So he brings in Alolan Ninetales, and I knew that I had this game because I had a shield with Alolan Sandslash, and I have Gyro Ball instead of Bulldoze, and now you can see Gyro Ball just one-shotted the Alolan Ninetales. So it's a good game there, Corvera. And we move on to the next one. So I lead regular Ninetales into a Tyranitar, so a terrible matchup. So I switched into Alolan Sandslash, which actually was a mistake on my part. I meant to switch into my other one, but I accidentally clicked the Ninetales, but he ended up switching anyway, so it's good for me. So I get off the Gyro Ball, which does a lot of damage as it is neutral to Alolan Sandslash. So he hits me with an Ice Punch, which I thought was a bait. And I get off my own Ice Punch to try and get a shield. which I do get the shield there. It glitched, but I did get the shield. So he goes off for another ice punch, which I still don't shield it because I was just ready to let the sand slash go down anyway. So he beats me to another one, but again, I don't shield because I am ready to let it go. So I clearly survived the ice punch, and I get off my own. And he does not shield, and I come back in with Ninetales, and I farm down the sand slash. So he comes back in with Tyranitar. So he does have one shield, and I charge up to a Solar Beam, but I go for Side Shock to try and catch the shield, which actually doesn't work. So I go for another Side Shock, trying to get the last shield, but it doesn't work either, and then my Ninetales faints. So I have a Vaporeon and a Alolan Sandslash in the back, but I do have 2 shields. I am up 2-1 in shields. So I come in with Alolan Sandslash to take the Tyranitar's energy, so I didn't have to use a shield, and I come back in with Vaporeon, and I feint it down with Water Gun. And so he brings in Granbull, so I get off my Aqua Tail, which he does not shield, surprisingly. I think he probably just gave up in this game. Oh, I don't know why he actually didn't shield that. Maybe he did give up because I still had 2 shields, but... We move on to the next one with Corvair. So I lead my Raichu, and he leads Suicune, so a pretty favorable matchup for me. So he switches into Alolan Sandslash, and I switch myself into Vaporeon. Vaporeon resists Ice Punch, and if he did have it, Gyro Ball because of the water typing. And then here he lags really, really significantly. So, yeah, as you can see, he's not doing anything. He does get in a couple Powder Snows, but yeah, he can't really do anything at all here. So he gets in a couple of Powder Snows. I throw a couple of Water Guns. So, yeah, dude. So I go for the Aqua Tail to see if it's game loaded to where he could shield it. I don't charge it all the way, and he doesn't shield, so the game is obviously lagging quite a bit for him right now. Probably should have cut this out, but it's alright. So he finally gets in a couple of Powder Snows, and then I let this move go. Whatever it was, even if it was a Bulldoze. So it actually ends up being an Ice Punch, which I take quite well, and I feint down the Alolan Sandslash, and he comes in with Granbull, and I go for an Aqua Tail, which he shields, but I had so much energy, I'm able to get to another Aqua Tail off, which he shields again. So he takes down my Vaporeon. I have Raichu and my Alolan Ninetales with Charm in the back, and I knew I could I knew I can charm down the Granbull before he could, because I had significantly more health than he did. So, and then he comes back in with Suicune, and I go for my Side Shock, which does an okay amount. So he gets off his charge move, which I knew was Bubble Beam, and Bubble Beam really doesn't do anything to me. So I take it, and he gets to another one, which I don't shield anyway because Bubble Beam really doesn't do anything. And I switch into Raichu, and his Suicune's so low I can just go for Brick Break to KO it. I don't need to go for the Wild Charge at that point. So we move on to the next one. So I lead Umbreon, he leads Alolan Sandslash. So I really don't know how this matchup goes. My Umbreon does not have Last Resort. Still in the process of trading for one. Haven't been successful yet. So he gets off an Ice Punch, which Umbreon can tank quite a bit of those. So I get off my Foul Play, which does a decent chunk to the Sandslash. I'm able to get to another Foul Play before he can get to an Ice Punch. So I get off the Foul Play, which he still goes unshielded, leaving the Sandslash in the red. So he gets off another Ice Punch, which I take. And he gets to another Ice Punch before I can get to another Foul Play, which is fine because I can take it. So I go for another Foul Play, which at this point he should just let it go because his Sand Slash is low anyway. So I have a little bit of extra energy, and I knew that I could get off another Foul Play unless he brought in a Charm User, which he brings in Suicune. So I'm able to get off another Foul Play, which again does a decent chunk. So I knew here that he had to burn his energy to KO my Umbreon, as Snarl won't fake me before I can get to another Foul Play. So I come in with Ninetales. So he hits me with a Bubble Beam that will lower my attack, and then he switches into Nidoqueen, and I have a Alolan Sandslash for that Nidoqueen. So I get off so Powder Snow and Ice Punch are super effective, and his Poison Jab or Sandslash does doubly resist those Poison Jabs. So I know Nidoqueen could have Earth Power, but it goes for the Earthquake instead, which is actually good for me because that's a lot of energy gone. So I go for the Ice Punch, and I just was messing around and didn't get an excellent on it. So I KO the Nidoqueen. He comes back in with Suicune, and at this point we both knew it was game over. So I go for the Ice Punch, which he doesn't shield, and then he gets off his Bubble Beam, which won't do anything to me. So trying to get to the Ice Punch to finally KO, as we do get to it, and we KO the Suicune. So that was the last battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.